Hey guys, so how's the facial hair growing this Movember?
Well, obviously, the two bookend members of our team. Okay, as the senior one by several years, Vic and I, my good friend of many years, I think Vic we've grown the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also the oldest, so I guess that's expected. Kobe, you're the baby, but that's a
My
you,
sideburns are really coming down.
okay. But yours did not connect. Mine did not connect until I was 38. But you got a pretty good goatee going there.
I do.
Yeah, I
Keep it.
cheated a little bit. I started in October because I already knew it's gonna be as minimal as possible. But I mean, this is the most for me. If
Nice.
you really think about it. And so, if you guys have been seeing us on air and on our social media platforms with these faces, it's all for actually a pretty good cause. Every November is Movember, Men's Health Month. It's where we've been recognizing and telling stories from throughout our community that's important about men's health, whether it's mental, whether it's physical. And it's been pretty interesting to learn stuff from doctors and professionals around the island.
Well, my topic was men's mental health, and I got to talk to Andre Bainham over at Blue Ocean Behavioral Health Group, and really interesting to talk about like some of the new ways that men are addressing their mental health and coming forward. And I can say the traditional role of men in society is to be the strong one, the leader, the breadwinner, and everything like that. And men are actually realizing that there is a role for me, and it's changing in society, but I can be even more of a man by addressing these and having open conversations. And then I even asked Andre at the end, I was like, okay, but when it really comes down to it, is mental health really like a male or female issue? Because no, it's a human issue. It's
human
universal.
issue. Thank you.
Everybody needs to address their human.
Similarly, Kobe, you had a topic on sports injuries, and I think that kind of falls in line with what he said about how men there's a misconception about how men should be seen and how we should act out there in the community.
Yeah, so my topic was like physical health, physical fitness, and like natural, regular routines, and kind of like using that as a way to take care of yourself. Because regular routines, as Dr. Judd Dawson at HP said, it's very beneficial for you in the long term. Because he was saying like your exercise when you're 20 should look different from when you're 50s or your 60s. And if you start, the earlier you start, the easier it'll be for when you are older. You'll have like less back pains, less joint pains, and so like that kind of like ties into like mental health, and like kind of using that as like a routine, natural routine.
Yeah. One thing about mental health is always being on time, but also setting boundaries
Yes.
when you need to. Don't forget to do that. You don't always have to be up to the minute. I mean, just like Vic is.
Notifications are a big thing about your health too.
But on Guam, what's so prevalent is gout, diabetes, and even sadly cancer. And that's something
Heart
all of us
disease.
have learned to be aware of and to look out for. And remember that just because you're a man doesn't mean that you have to do it alone.
Yeah, Dr. Christiana Whitman, our friend over at the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, told me a couple months ago, actually when we were leading into the Olympics, is she was saying that for elite athletes, mental health is so much more of a big thing, because they say you can become so much of a better competitor if you address your emotions and be open and emote basically, and kind of like her idea too was like, is there any better way to prove your manhood than to say I'm going to address myself so that I can better take care of my family?
I feel like that's easier said than done for a lot
Yeah.
of men, especially in the islands in Micronesia. You can agree, huh, Vic?
Yeah. I mean, my topic was gout. I mean, and I know I was throwing the topic just so I can learn more about it, but something that I've recently found that I have. Growing up, I always heard uncles and and people who had it, and I was just like, I'm probably never gonna get that. But then just being at my age and finally finding out that I do have gout and things that I need to cut down on.
And you're not old at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like I thought I was gonna get it at like 40 or 50, but getting it at 35, I was just like, it was also a eye opener for me as well to start looking at what I'm eating, to kind of cut down on things like that, especially the alcohol. I mean, sometimes we got to
Working
party
on
here.
it. But growing up in Yap and going to school in Chuk, I mean, I'm sure you're always looked up to as being the man, no matter what.
Yes, and I think and that going from gout to mental health, especially in the FSM. It's such a big thing because, like Jason said at the beginning, like we always looked at as these role models, or the head of the family. We're supposed to take care of everything. They're supposed to be strong. You can't be seeing them crying, stuff like this. So this is where I also learned as well. Like even though we're 35, 40, we have to take care of our mental health. And sometimes, we gotta kind of take a step back and just look at life and kind of realize, what we need to take care of.
Yeah, and now, oh Captain, my Captain, you actually kicked this whole thing off a little bit before November
I
started
did.
everything, because you went to the Philippines and got an assessment, and you were very forthright in a wonderful special you did.
Oh man, I couldn't believe it. My metabolic age is 16 years more than my actual age, which was pretty shocking. And so now I'm working to get back to my physical health, and it's a journey I'm still trying to unpack for sure.
Yeah, so I learned, well, maybe to end, what did you guys learn? Because I learned, if I had known, I want to say 7 years ago, the year my dad passed away, we also lost my grandpa. If I had known to better, again, address what I was feeling and just openly talk
Not
about
bottle it up.
Yeah, not bottle up, I would have been better. And Kobe, if you don't mind sharing, I know, because as an athlete playing at your level and everything, still competing the way you do in rugby and in wrestling, you actually dealt with like a popped hammy that you didn't get seen for a while, right?
Yeah, so I actually pulled my hamstring like last year.
Oh, you said popped hammy. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so it like took me out for like weeks, and I couldn't even I couldn't work out because it like hurt to walk, and it just kind of like hurt to move. So I was kind of.
But you toughed it out.
I did. It got me into like a little like a dark space kind of, because I was like, man, I can't do anything. I can't walk, but. It's all about like kind of like listening to your body and like going at a slower pace. You don't have to like jump back into it, and you can kind of just like take your time, take care of yourself, and listen to your body.
Yeah, that's something
Yeah.
now that you're coaching.
Yeah.
At FD, right?
Mhm.
That's something you can teach the rest of the athletes
for
there,
sure.
no doubt.
Especially because like kids in high school, you're like not worrying about like stretching or like
I don't do
hydrating
it.
properly. Like we just go to school, play sports, and then you go home, right? But like it's really important to kind of take care of yourself and to make sure that you are listening to your body, because it'll benefit you in the long run when you listen to your body.
What do you think really holds us back from getting really in tune with our emotions? And like Vic has said it, you can't be the one to cry, but hey, sorry folks, men cry, in case you
Yes.
didn't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
We're allowed to.
I'll start with
Yeah.
you, Vic. What do you think is really holding you back from always being able to be vulnerable and just express yourself as a human being?
Honestly, for me, it was the way I was taught growing up, that we were taught to never show that side. But seeing it now and living on Guam and living through and having seen all these things where yes, you can show your emotions and you can come out and you can cry. It's okay to complain here and there. But so now that I've seen that, now I can learn to actually. I can cry when I need to. There are times where it gets stressful at work, it gets stressful in life. The bills come here, hit you in the head, and so it's okay to cry. And I think that's what I've learned from this.
You're stressed out, Vic?
Nah, not really.
Vic's always
Yeah.
jumping around like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. You got me, Kobe. What about you?
Yeah,
What holds you back?
I feel like it's just like the big misconception and the stigma that like men cannot be weak in like public settings. So I feel like that's like growing up with that kind of stigma, it's like, man, I can't show that I'm bothered by something or something is like making me sad like in public, because I have to be a strong person like as a man. So I think that's what like kind of holds me back from being emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for you, Jason?
Okay, for me, it's a little bit different, because I've never had a problem with crying. I probably cried too much as a kid. Like I cried at movies. I cried when like I got in trouble or stuff like that. But I think now it's, especially at my age, I just turned 50 this year, one of the main reasons why a lot of men don't get, like I'm 50 now, I have to go, like this year's my colonoscopy year. Why a lot of men don't do those procedures that they should is because they're so afraid of what the diagnosis may
Yeah.
be. But it's so much better to know. Guys are dudes
Fear
out
of not
there.
knowing isn't going to help nobody.
Yeah.
Man, and I think for me, that same mentality and the culture, for me, I'm the only boy in my family with two sisters. I was the middle child. And so I grew up with that tradition of knowing, okay, grow up, get married to a woman, have your family, and just carry on the legacy, right, of your family. And I did that, and I have 3 kids, and I'm happy to have them. I love them so much. But now I identify as a gay man, and I feel like that part of the walls I was able to really just drop and be my true self helped me to grow, not just in my lifestyle, but as a professional, in what you see in the work that I push out there every day. It's not just because I want to get the news done and I want to make everyone's work go as smooth as possible. It's just who I am, you know?
And you're much happier for it.
Yeah,
when
I
that
think so
shows.
too. And I teach that to my kids who are all like in their preteens and in teenage years right now, that you should always just be honest with what you're feeling and what you're going to, because your feelings are, no matter what anyone else is saying around you, your feelings are always valid.
Yeah, I hope everybody got so much out of this series as much as we did putting it together for you, because I know I learned a lot from
Yeah.
each of your segments. Vic, yours was absolutely amazing. I was inspired by each of you. Yeah. So great work, guys.
Yeah, Movember, it comes around every November, guys, and so you can check out each of our episodes that we aired throughout the month.
Wait, question, guys. Are you going to keep that? Okay, Nick, that's not just.
I'm
That's
ready
not
to
just
shave it. I've been eating all of the hair that's been going over
because
my
yours
lip.
isn't just peach fuzz. Kobe may need like the.
I'm getting rid of mine.
Yeah.
Under here.
Mine's the vibe jungle already.
Yeah, Vic may need to like
trim.
Vic may need to go like rent a riding mower or
cut.
something. Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, this is why it's so important for us to have these conversations and to share with the community that it's okay to be honest with yourself and honest with the people in your circle. If they're uncomfortable with it, that's okay. You just be honest with you. And again, you can check out all of our Movember segments right now on KUAM News YouTube channel, on our social media platforms. And this has been a pleasure doing with you, this Skylet.
you, guys.
Guys,
All right.
let's do it again.
Go, guys.
1, 2, 3, November.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Movember.